is starting. Now it's live. Let's see. So it is live. I'm waiting to just see if it'll show you in there yet. Because it doesn't show you. I had this issue earlier today. I did an interview with someone and it just took a second. It's saying it shows you as a viewer. Okay. So we're going to try it this way, because once I invite you, you should be able. Oh, there you go. It just says one viewer. Now it's saying no views. Okay. Now it's saying one viewer. So it's showing that you're in. It keeps going from 0 to 1. I wonder if there's a network issue. Now it shows you're there, but it's not pulling you. Right. That's weird. Because just earlier today I did this and it worked just fine. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to forward you this actual embed link and it should let you come right in. Technology is only good when it's working. That's what I tell people all the time. And you know, because y'all been building that website for a minute, so. All right, I just emailed you the actual direct link, so it should allow you to come right in. So while we're waiting on that, I guess let me tell you kind of how I'll do this. What we'll do is we will have a good. Okay. So what'll happen is what we'll do is we'll kind of I'll do a quick introduction, talk about some of the things that you've done, kind of bring it up, and then what I'll do is we'll get right into the conversation, and so we'll follow that outline, and we'll kind of be able to go from there. So, and I'll be able to work in the other stuff too that you wanted to be able to talk about. So that'll be pretty good. There you go. Now I see you.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, good. Let me shut that down. Now I got you live.
Oh damn! I lost the phone call. Did you hang it up?
Yeah, I hung up the phone, and you should be able to get the video.
Hey, hold on one second. Let me change my output. Oh, let me plug in my headphones. Hold on. That. Okay, now I should hear you.
Oh, now you're perfect.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're perfect now. Yeah, we're rocking and rolling.
We are good to go.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So what I'll do is I'll do an introduction. And just so you know, as far as the final stuff, it's going to be completely cleaned up, edited. It's going to have nice little introduction. It'll have all the different pieces together. And once we get done, I edit everything out this week, between today and Tuesday evening. I will send you all of the final stuff prior to it launching Thursday morning. It'll have, and you also see in there kind of the Twitter stuff that'll be available too. So you'll have like all of the JPEGs and everything else. And so you'll be able to, tease it, everything else that you want to be able to do. So all of it.
Fantastic. Okay, fantastic.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I will bring you in. All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much. This is Chris Williams, keynote speaker and thought leader on workplace culture. And today I have a very, very special exclusive interview. I try to tell you that I like bringing in people who are doing things in not only their life, but they're impacting others. They're moving the needle. They're not just talking about it, but they're very action oriented. And so here on the Way Forward podcast, I wanted to bring you somebody who you have probably heard about, you've seen. More importantly, this is somebody who never settles at anything. And so you've seen him on the Today Show. You've seen him as a Periscope phenom. If you are familiar with Periscope, for all of my listeners, you know that this gentleman was at the Periscope Summit back in the fall. He was able to get great exclusive interviews. And more importantly than that, this guy really cares about the people who have now begun to follow what he does. He's nominated a million times over from broadcasting standpoints. He's won multiple awards. He is recognized not only in his local community, but all over when it comes to the digital media space. And so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you Mario Armstrong of the Today Show. Mario, how are you?
Christopher, thank you so much, my friend, for having me on the show, man. I'm so pumped to be here. Really appreciate that strong intro too, my friend. That was good looking out, man. We've been working hard, as many people are, but it's always good to kind of hear some of the, legacy in action, I call it, because we all are building a reputation. We all are building our lives, and we all are leaving some type of legacy behind, one way or the other. So it's kind of cool to kind of step outside of yourself sometimes, just to kind of hear like, oh yeah, I did do that. Oh yeah, we did win that. And it's good. It kind of gives a little bit more inspiration and momentum, because when you're in it and you're doing it, you're just so focused on trying to make that impact or trying to move to the next level, that it's very important in life that you do take moments to recognize where you came from and where you are. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And you guys can't see this, but I can. So one of the coolest things that I see right now is in his picture. And I want you guys to picture this. And I just want you to think about your personal life, whatever it is you're doing, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're working in a corporate job, or whether you just might be in between and making a transition. I'm able to sit here and bring to you today a gentleman who is holding an Emmy in his hand. I want you to understand how powerful that is. And so a lot of people may be wondering, well, what are they going to talk about? And what is the conversation that's around today? And so I brought on Mario Armstrong because one of the things that I think is very, very important that we do for our audience all the time, Mario, is that we talk about being able to understand culture from many different aspects. And so there was a particular Periscope that I saw that you did, and I thought, man, I tell you, this is what it's all about. I reached out to him, and he was thankful enough to be able to give us his time. And so I want to talk about a little bit today. We'll go through a lot of different things and really talk about what never settle even means to you, Mario. But more importantly, let me just set this up for our audience. So a couple of weeks ago, I'm on Periscope. I see it pull up on my phone. Mario Armstrong is on TV right now. He was in a taxi, and I was like, okay, let's just see what he's talking about today. So Mario's in the taxi, and it's early in the morning, and Mario's fired up as usual, but it was like even more, like you saw like fire in the guy's eyes. Like he was fired up, and he was having a conversation about diversity. And one of the interesting things that he said was, I'll never forget this, and this is what made me even reach out to him to be on the podcast today. He said, we have to raise our conversation level about diversity and make it more about many than just either or. And I said, wow. Imagine in your company today, if you're listening to this, imagine in your office, imagine in your workplace, imagine at the water cooler, or when you go to lunch with your coworkers. If you guys were having a more elevated conversation around diversity, instead of it being one way or the other, or it should just be all this way and it should be all that way, having a discussion on many, making the conversation more than just about one way, this or that. And so Mario sparked that for me. And I mean, he was fired up. I mean, if you could have heard the scope that he did, he was very, very fired up. But Mario, just talk about that just for a second, and
Sure.
and then we'll get into the other things. But I thought it was just a powerful conversation that you were having with all of your Periscope followers.
Yeah, it boils down to me in that, look, and understanding your podcast and understanding, the power of culture and how that impacts our businesses, our society, our lives. The idea of something being diverse, if you really pay attention to the definition, I'm a words guy. I love words. I love researching them. I love trying to find out where they started. I love looking up the roots of those words. I love really trying to figure out the connections to current day issues, challenges, and structures based off of words, because words are a powerful, just an amazing way to communicate. You hear people say it all the time. It's not just what you say, right? It's how you say it. So
That's right.
You could say the same word. I could say diversity to the same two people, and they can interpret that same word differently depending on how I'm actually saying it. So when I look at the word diversity and I say it with that fire and with that passion and with that desire, what I'm saying is embrace what the word really means. And what the word is saying is it's not good enough for it to be just a black or white issue or just a yes or no answer. It is a multiple choice situation. Diversity is multiple choice, not just true or false. And when you start thinking like that, you start opening up your mind to, well, what does it mean? And diversity to me means all cultures. So we're talking all ethnicities. We're talking even beyond that, because that's the easy one. The easy
Right.
one is ethnicities, and the easy one is gender.
Right.
Oh, we're diverse because we have more women, or we're more diverse because we have more African Americans. That's not the end all definition that I was getting at. And what I was tired of hearing was that we are becoming such a black and white answer society that we are missing all the other beautiful colors of the world. And what happens, if you really want to break this down scientifically, right? There are only but so many primary colors in the world. There's only a couple of primary colors. Every other color that is made is a mixture of other colors. And I don't know if people know that, but if you do your homework, or if you're in graphic design, or if you're in that creative space, you know what I'm talking about. That there are only a few primary colors, and then everything else, every other color is a combination of other colors mixed together. And so when you start thinking like that, I've seen too many businesses, I've seen too many cultures, and being in the tech space that I've been in for so long, being in the startup space, being an entrepreneur, and also being in government roles in the past, I've seen the power of when you have a diverse team, where your business, your ideas, your dreams, your passions can go when you are willing to accept others' perspectives as a means to advancing a larger initiative. But if you can't even get to that conversation, then it's very hard for you to understand the benefits of true diversity. So when we're hiring for our coming talk show, I'm looking for not only gender, I'm also looking for, to the extent that I can, income status, because I want to make sure that we are employing people that don't normally get a chance to get employed at doing something that we're doing, because I know they got the skill set. They just don't have the exposure, or they don't have other people willing to look out for them to bring them into the fold. But
That's
I'm also looking at people that are disabled. So I'm talking, when I think diversity, I'm thinking I want a vet on my team. Like, I want someone that knows that perspective. I can't speak on that, but you can speak on that. And maybe something we're about to launch could be offensive to the vet community. And I don't know that, or could be offensive to someone that's actually physically disabled. But I don't know that. So it makes you a smarter, more inclusive, more holistic, and honestly, man, just a reflection of society. And I think I'm just tired of society as a whole not being reflected enough in media and enough in our companies that we really understand what's actually going on, as opposed to building silos. Somebody tried to say, somebody was like, what did they say? You're like, someone was trying to equate me to like either Michael Jackson or Muhammad Ali. Cause I think Michael Jackson was like, I think what they were saying was like, Michael Jackson is like somebody that's like known well, or is kind of like superstar status or whatever, but doesn't really integrate well with people. Whereas Muhammad Ali is like known well, but loves to be in the mosh pit, loves to be with the people.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't care how you have to get to it. Like if that does it for you, then I'm good, but whatever. Like I just want people to open their minds to increasing the intellectual discussion of what it means to be diverse in our cultures and in our companies.
That's good, Mario, man. That is amazing. So let's do this, Mario. Let's rewind the clock, and I want to go back. Let's go back even before the Today Show. Let's go back as you were the individual contributor before you became the leader that you are today. Let's go back and talk to our audience and just share with me, what was it that you said, all right, I know there's more to me than just the 9-to-5 grind. I know that I have something that I can contribute that is valuable from an intellectual property standpoint, and not just every day I kind of come in, do my thing, and come home. What was it for you? What was the moment?
Yeah, I think the moment the light bulb really clicked was 2007. I was working for the mayor's office in Baltimore City as kind of like his right-hand guy for economic development as it relates to technology in our communities. So what that really meant to me was, Mario, make sure Baltimore citizens understand how to use technology to better their outcomes, to get better jobs, to get better education, to move from lower income and poverty situations to higher income opportunities. And I think, when I was working back then, I always was working a side hustle. Like I'm that guy that was always an entrepreneur on the side. I was always doing something, always trying to make something else pop while I was bringing in an income to the family. Well, in 2007, the mayor runs for governor and wins, and the new mayor that comes in doesn't need my position anymore. So we all know how that goes. So I got laid off. Well, I wasn't too worried about it because I was intending to leave anyway, because a year prior to that, I had been working on closing a deal with AOL. The deal that we were closing with AOL was $228,000. $228,000 deal. And this was going to be my deal coming out the gate as an entrepreneur. So for 6 months, I had been working on AOL on creating something called a video blog back then. This is like 2008 now, 2007, 2008. And I said, guys, I want to do a video blog for AOL where I come into AOL's headquarters and I actually document in a video blog style some of the stuff that you guys are developing, some of the things that the constituents, the users of your AOL products are saying they want you to fix. Like I was going to be like that liaison, almost the ombudsman, like the liaison between like the consumer and the big company. And they were like really dealing with it was damaging right then, because at the time everybody was picking on AOL because it was easy to pick on a massive giant. So I was like, I'm going to humanize AOL. I'll make it more human. I'll let people see inside the frustrations that you guys are feeling, as well as the consumers, so that you'll be more humanized. So they love the idea. Fast forward, we get a contract. We then start setting up our business. So I say to my wife, Nicole, I said, look, you've been a COO for 2 other companies, and you've helped be a right hand to building 2 other companies. I said, come build this company. This is our turn. Let's build our company. Let's create our own economic wealth for our family and let's help our communities.
That's
And
awesome.
so she's like, yeah, all right, but I make more money than you. So it's easy because you're about to be laid off and we need to keep an income coming in. I said, I get that. I said, so do some consulting on the side and walk away from the other gig, do some consulting on the side and work on building this up because you can put in the infrastructure. I can do the creative work. And so after a bunch of pulling back and forth, I finally convinced her. And I told her, I said, look, we're going to get this AOL deal so we can use this as well as our launching pad. So we set up paperwork with the lawyers. We do all of this stuff. We get our business set up. She leaves the job. She leaves her job, comes and works for the company. We get everything set up, squared away. We are on our way to AOL to what is called a signing party. Whenever there was a contract over $200,000, I'm sorry, yeah, it was 278. It was 278. Whenever there was something over $250,000, they do a signing party. We're driving to Dulles, Virginia. And I get the phone call. Now, mind you, we've already signed our papers and faxed them over to them. Some 30-page contract that we had to pay a lawyer for that set up our business. So we're already putting out money, not getting anything in yet. But we know it's a $278,000 contract. So we send it over to them. We start hearing crickets. We don't know what's going on. Like, we're not getting the feedback. No one's signing and faxing back. And then the guy says, David says, come on out here and we're going to do the signing. So we said, all right. Dude, we get in the car, we get all the way halfway there, and they call and they say, Mario, I'm sorry to tell you, but we can't sign the contract today.
Wow.
And I just pulled over on the side of the road, right? And I'm just like, jaw dropped. And I think that was the turning moment because the jaw hit the floor of the car. And the wife and I are looking at each other like, what is happening right now? Like, we're good people. We didn't run anybody over. We haven't committed any crimes. We haven't done, like, our karma should be in good space. Like, what is going on right now? And what we found out, obviously, is that things are beyond your control, right? So a couple of lessons were learned from this, and I'll get to that in a second. But I want to make sure that people understood this story because this was the turning point of everything. Because at this moment, when we pulled over on the side of the road and started like shedding tears, we were thinking about how the heck are we going to raise our son, who's 4 years old at the time, keep him in his school that we're paying private stuff for, and keep this thing moving when now we don't have any income coming in. And yeah,
mind you, I think if I heard you correctly, your wife already left her job.
She already left, Chris. She already left, man.
Wow.
So we saved. We had 6 to 9 month window of some savings. Like, we had planned all of that. I had a little bit of 401k money. So we were smart. We didn't just jump. I don't advise any time for anyone to jump off with the wings on, hoping that the wings are going to grow on the way down. It's really a smarter approach to work on your dream as a side hustle while you're getting income coming in. Because normally what happens is your side hustle will, if you do it right, your side hustle will start to get to a point where it's causing friction with your day hustle.
That's right.
When it gets to that point that it's causing real friction, then you are at a decision point of, I'm not quite making exactly what I need to be making, but if I gave it a little bit more time, I could. And then you're saying, that means I need to walk away from the job. So at that point, you can start planning out how you do that. But to this decision point, man, this decision moment changed everything. To your point, we had to ask ourselves, are we entrepreneurs or not?
Wow.
Because this is it. Like, this is going to happen more than once. Like, if we can't handle this heat right now, then we're not cut out to really, we're kidding ourselves. Let's just go back and go get some jobs and try to get some 6-figure incomes back in here.
Right.
But then here's what happened. We're 3 months into it. We're like, yeah, we can do this. We're entrepreneurs. We'll make this happen. Me more than her. She likes to have stability. I like to be on the edge. So this is a little fearful for her. At the same time, I grew up with my dad who was like this. So I got that hustle in me to just keep pushing forward. But about 4 months into this, the president comes on TV and says we're in a state of recession because it's 2008 now.
That's right.
It's 2008. No companies are spending. people that were looking to do stuff with us are all drying up because everybody went in fear mode. If you remember,
Yes, I
everybody
do.
went in fear mode. So everything got dried up. So now we're running out of money. We're depleted the savings because now we're into 2008. We're a year past the incident already, and we can't go out and make more income. So now we're going against the credit cards. We're contemplating going against the mortgage. You know, we're about to lose one vehicle to get rid of the car note. Like it's getting like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It's like getting real in the household. Like I'm
Right.
calling my younger brother crying because I know he doesn't have 2 nickels to scratch, asking him for money. And I'm looking at our bank account and I screenshotted our bank account. The bank account had 4 accounts in it. It had a business account, a checking account, Christopher's a savings account, and then an emergency fund account. I looked at all 4 of those accounts, man. 3 out of the 4 were red. They were negative money.
Wow.
The 4th account had $57 in it. And so the money that we did have that was in the black couldn't even cover what was already in the negatives. So basically, we were
Wow.
flat broke. We didn't claim bankruptcy because I didn't feel like we needed to at the time. I felt like if we could still figure out a hustle, if we could still put stuff up on eBay, if we could still borrow some money somehow, some way, or if I could sell a small thing for 1,500 here or 1,000 there, that we would just stay afloat. And it worked. I don't know how we pulled it off. We were at each other's throats. I think we almost broke up. And we somehow kept the faith and stayed rooted to the ultimate goal, and we came out on the other end. And now we have 8 employees working for Mario Armstrong Media, and we're certainly not where we want to be, but we're certainly not at like 2008 to 2012. It took us to like 2013 before we actually got bouncing back.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? The truth is that for most entrepreneurs, that is a normal story. That
Yes.
is every entrepreneur has that particular moment. And I love the question that you asked there. We'll probably end up using that as a part of our teaser material for this. But are you an entrepreneur?
Right.
Don't ask when you got all the everything is fine and everything is great. Sometimes you have to ask yourself that when the whole house is burning and you're pouring more gasoline on it. You still have to ask, are you an entrepreneur? That's a great question. So that's a powerful story, and I'm glad you shared that because I'm sure that's going to help some people who might be in the middle of transition. And so
yeah, because it's like, if I could just jump in real quick, because it's
yeah.
like, a Martin Luther King quote comes to mind, right? It's like the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was
wow.
exactly what we were dealing with. So, and it's okay if it's not you. I don't want people thinking like you have to then try to push through it to prove to yourself that you can be. I don't want no, if that feels very uncomfortable for you, then that's fine. Realign yourself with that purpose within you, and you will be happier and you will still be fulfilling what you're great at. But for us, that was the question of the moment in the time of challenge and controversy. Can we handle this or not?
Yeah, that's good. So then let's fast forward now. So you talked about 2013, you finally were able to come out, and then all of a sudden here comes this thing called Periscope.
Yeah.
And so I want you to kind of just share from your side, why is Periscope so valued to a company's brand? And one of the things that I think about a lot is that with a lot of people I've talked to, in the way I've seen Periscope being used, some people would think, oh, that's just a social media trend that's going to go away. But then I started noticing how creative some companies, like the big name companies, who, yes, they spend millions of dollars to put it in front of your face every 20 seconds on a commercial on TV, but they're finding some really great uses for Periscope. So, share with everyone that why is it so valuable to a brand to use something like Periscope?
Because live streaming is what Periscope is, the ability to take an app on your phone, use the camera on your phone and shoot live video and have other people watch that video, comment on it, give you feedback in real time through the visual of seeing hearts floating on your screen because they're tapping their screen, which is putting hearts on your screen, letting you know that there's some feedback going on. There's a feedback loop there, because that ability to take people into something live and in real time is growing faster than any other video format today. So live streaming is growing faster than pre-recorded video, 42% versus 34%. And live video is being viewed longer than pre-recorded video. So when you see a pre-recorded video show up in Facebook, or you see something show up online on YouTube, and you might watch that, you may watch a few seconds or a few minutes or the whole thing. The average for pre-recorded, something that was shot earlier, edited, packaged together, and then posted, is 2 to 3 minutes. Live video, live streaming, things like Periscope, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and more, live streaming on average is viewed 20 plus minutes.
Wow. That's a huge jump.
Huge, like 10x. 2
Yeah.
minutes, 2 to 3 minutes pre-record versus 20 minutes live.
And just to give our audience a little bit of understanding, so here's the thing that I think is so awesome also about Periscope. And I shared this in a previous conversation a couple of months back, but Periscope allows, I think, anybody, I don't care if you're big as a Google, or Apple, or you're a small startup and you're 6 months in, it allows you to have direct connection to your customer.
Yes.
Without having to, and not saying that using a Gallup poll or survey or whatever you need to use.
Right.
But I've watched companies actually hold meetings about products on Periscope.
Yeah, man. You're right on. Yeah.
Feedback.
Yep. Instant. Like right then on the spot. I mean, because here's the thing. Right now, what I've been telling people is you don't need to have Periscope or Facebook Live. You don't need to use that at your next event. You need to actually create an event for Periscope and Facebook Live.
That's right. So tell everybody about the event that you created.
Which one?
So I love you had the DJ piece with your motivational stuff that goes on.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a couple of ways that we use it, because if you're a company and you're putting out a press release, or if you're a company and you have things that happen throughout the year that are seasonal events that you're going to do something for a certain time of year, those are moments where you should already plan to use live streaming in those already predetermined media relations or media output. What I want to see more people do is get more creative about all the in-between time, not having to wait for that event to come up. So for things like what we're doing is for our talk show that is coming out in Brooklyn in September. This is a whole new style of talk show, and we can talk about what it's about later, but it's completely interactive. It is Oprah 3.0. It is a whole new format of talk. It's going to change the game if we execute this the way we envision. And the way we've been helping to get there is by using Periscope and Facebook Live to test out segment ideas, to test out content ideas.
Wow.
And to get real-time feedback without putting ourselves out there. We don't have to say, hey guys, we're testing this as a segment for the coming talk show. What do you think? No, you just do it and you just see what happens. Do people gravitate to it? Is there a conversation that gets sparked by it? Was something happening inside of that Periscope that makes the idea even bigger now that you can try again later? So it is our petri dish for ideas for our biggest product that we are about to launch at the end of the year. So that's number one, instant feedback on the product cycle for things that we may want to develop on the show. And people don't even need to know that that's what we're doing. We're just giving you content and you're reacting to that.
That's
number
right.
two, it is a way for us to also say, hey, look, be a part of us building this show. it's your show too. So we're going to use Periscope later today. I'm going to be showing on Periscope our last revisions on the website. In other words, this is it, guys. Give us your feedback this last round, because after this, it's going to go launch. And so people are actually being a part of a talk show's website development process. I mean, people pick the logos. People
Wow.
helped us choose the color of the logos. We took Periscope into meetings when we met with our creative agency that was sitting down with us. Like, we were giving people like access, man. And it was the most phenomenal thing to see. A third use, I've had a company call me and say, Mario, we're trying to convince this brand that they should be using Periscope or Facebook Live more. What would be can you Periscope in to our conference meeting and tell us the benefits and the value as part of our pitch?
Wow.
So creative ideas are happening all over the place. And it is the place where you can increase digital and real-time traffic. You can find new ways to increase revenue. You can reach any size audience anywhere on any device now. You can engage directly with them. The transparency and the authenticity that comes through video is a million times more impactful than your best Instagram image any day of the week. Any day of the week. Like, a picture speaks 1,000 words, but video gives me 1,000,000 words, expressions, and nonverbal communication that I can't get from a static image. It also, to me, fast forwards the buying cycle. If people like you, or if people like what you're showing them, or if people are getting value out of the videos and the access you're giving them, it is going to fast forward the buying cycle, whatever you're selling. I've never seen people know each other better. When I've gone to these live streaming summits or these conferences, and people know each other so well already, the mating period of trying to network is so far advanced because they already have a connection and have seen each other in live streaming spaces that they can actually fast forward to collaboration right on the spot.
That's good. That is awesome. And I think what we're going to start to see in the future are more events that are centered around live streaming.
Yes.
I think we're going to start to see a lot of people start to leverage live streaming, and not only just leverage it, but also for those who are out here, if you're using Periscope or you're using YouTube Live or you're using Facebook Live, there are people who are already starting to catch on to the trend. And I think what's going to happen is we will start to see more people. YouTube was kind of like the 1.0 version of online stars. Now you're going to start to see like live streaming people who are literally building their business off of the fact that they live stream. That's what they do.
Yeah, man, because they're in it early. I mean, you know, this is the best because, again, you can't, it's hard to, like, you know, lie through video.
Right.
Like it's hard to really kind of like overextend. You can make some marketing materials look amazing, but you can't make somebody on video look amazing. Either they're amazing or not, or you connect with them or not. So when I look at the indirect revenue models and the direct revenue models, I see things like leadership authority, retail product sales, digital product sales, public speaking, people that are doing work for hire type services, people that are doing trainings or consulting or coaching, lead funnels. Like, there are so many different uses to use live streaming as a part of your toolkit to accomplishing some of your goals.
That's right. That's right. So that's great. So let's talk about now how, because you just mentioned a couple of things in there about the best ways to use Periscope. So what would you say is kind of some of the myths out there about live streaming that you think we need to kind of unravel, and how that all relates to also building that culture of followers? Because some people think, oh, well, it's just a bunch of kids who are on Periscope. So I'm a big business, I'm a big brand. Why do I need Periscope when I don't need those kids? I need adults. And I need people who are either between 35 and 55, and I don't think they're all on Periscope. what kind of myths out there do you think that some brands and companies need to kind of get rid of so that they can start to embrace this?
Yeah, number one is the millennial factor. Everybody thinks that anything hot that a lot of people are talking about, especially in the app world, is a millennial choice, or something being completely influenced by millennials or younger generation. I have more people follow me on Periscope that are probably in the 30s and 40s than I have that are anywhere near the 20s.
Wow.
And that's just hands down. And that is because Periscope, as well as Facebook, have already been able to get beyond that level of thinking. That this is just um, early starters. This is just those early adopters, and that usually means it skews younger. People are still saying that now about Snapchat, and they're wrong. Now, don't get me wrong, Snapchat is still skewing younger than Periscope, but that is quickly changing. So people, number one myth, this is not a youth play only. Everybody is into live streaming. There are other apps like YouNow, MeV, Facebook Live, and Periscope, and all of them are building audiences beyond just young kids and young demographics. So that's the first myth. The second myth is that there's no tangible benefit. They see maybe putting out more time to managing it than what they get back from it. And I think that's a big misconception, because you don't have to do a 20-minute scope. You don't have to be on live streaming for 15 minutes. You can come on and do a 5-minute live stream if that's all you need to do. You don't need to waste time or think you're spending more time than necessary. People forget that people can watch this stuff on replay. It's not just about the live engagement. It is about replay viewers as well. And a lot of people watch on replay because they don't catch all the notifications or catch it all live. I think another misconception is that this is something that startups and maybe smaller companies can play in, but bigger brands are more focused on bigger strategies and bigger plans. And I think that is a big misconception. Look, when the E Network decides that they are now doing a daily TV show that is only live streamed on Facebook Live.
Wow.
They are adding an additional show
I did not know
their
that.
profile, to their programming that cannot be seen on cable. It can only be seen on their Facebook fan page, live streamed every day. And I think it's a 20-minute show.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, look, Facebook is looking for licensing rights with sports teams so that, we can try. They're going to start streaming some of that stuff. Like, this is a big deal. And I think companies that aren't tapping into this are missing out on huge opportunities. I don't care if you sell ice cream. Show us a new flavor that's coming out. And let us taste test it on Periscope.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Look, if you can take a camera and start showing, here's the difference. Companies that are willing to humanize their business are the ones that are going to win. I'm going to say it one more time. Companies that are willing to humanize their business and the people in that business are going to win. That means you have to get to a level of comfort where you are okay with a camera going inside your offices. And a lot of people want control. A lot of people do not like the sense of a camera being on the loose. And obviously you can have some parameters. You don't want your IP or intellectual property being put out there. There are certain things that are off limits, but you cannot tell me there's not enough that you can shoot that is on limit that you don't do today.
That's right. That's right. That's good. And we'll definitely use that as a part of our tagline for this podcast. Those who are willing to humanize what they do can end up on top. I love that idea. So you're a person who's humanized your entire digital walk of life. I mean, you have made it so easy for people to gain. I love what you talked about earlier, how live streaming is shortening that buying cycle. I think one thing too with that is that some people just think, oh, it's just about a product. Well, you also have a personal brand, and that's one of the other things that we talk about as well. And so you've been able to take live streaming opportunities in the tech space and even just humanize your entire brand. And you came up with this really cool thing that I want you to share with everybody. And I remember the first time I heard it, I thought, oh, okay, so I get it. I understand that. But you've made it a movement. You literally made this thing like somebody's gonna be doing a march on somewhere sometime soon. And for those who have not heard this, Mario, I just want you to talk about this Never Settle club that you've created and what it's all about.
Yeah, because when you here's how that started. Because when you operate from a place of positive intent, your outcomes are exponentially going to lean in a much more successful space than if you were to come at a particular idea or a concept with an agenda. I understand you have goals, but there's a difference in having objectives and having goals and just having positive intent. And people often don't feel like you can say the words maybe positive intent with making money. Like it seems like that should be contradictory. And it's like, no. So what, you can't want people to win, or you can't want to create something that's going to really benefit people and still get paid for that? Like, no, that's not right. Like that's the complete opposite is
That's
what
right.
should be going down. So I understand how people fall into these traps. But here's how we came up with the Never Settle Club. So it was 2 summers ago, and the team with the company was doing really well. We're like, man, we got to do something cool this summer. Let's give back. We always give back, but we were like, let's really do a project that's really focused on giving back in some way, shape, or form. And I just wanted to do t-shirts at the time. I was like, let's just put positive hashtags on t-shirts and we'll sell them. We're not going to make a mint off of selling t-shirts, but it would be good to kind of spread these positive hashtags around, make a little bit of pocket change, and see where this positive trajectory could go. Like we're going to project positive hashtags and people are going to wear them on these clothes, and maybe that can get people to think and change their thinking a little bit. So my right-hand guy, Shy, goes, man, we got to do something bigger than that. And I was like, all right. So he was like, what if, because we started coming up with these hashtag names, and he was like, what if we just did like each hashtag was like a weekly course, and you can still do your merchandise, but we're going to make it a course. And so we're actually going to do a video. We're actually going to create some content. We're going to write up a script, and then we're going to give people homework. And we're going to do that for the next 6 weeks. And we're going to do a 6-week program. And guess what? We're not going to charge anybody for it. We're going to make it completely free. And we're going to call it the Never Settle Club. Because at some point I had tweeted hashtag Never Settle. This is before Verizon hijacked our joint. Straight up. We had put, because you can go through advanced search on Twitter and see who used hashtag Never Settle first. You'll clearly see that we were there. So it's time stamped. The point I'm making is they can't use Never Settle Club. Nobody can trademark Never Settle, but they can't use Never Settle Club because that's ours. It's trademark. So anyway, I did this thing that said Never Settle, and I saw a bunch of tweets came back, and people were like, man, I love that Never Settle talk. I love that. I love that. So we were like, let's just call it the Never Settle Club. So we created this 6-week club, put together the program, and it blew up. Like it took off bigger than what we thought. So the program was Monday, you get a video that you would join the Facebook group. You would get this free video on Monday. You would have the week to work on it. And then on Friday, I would do a live streaming. Back then, live streaming. This is before Periscope. I think we were using like Ustream at the time. Live streaming Q&A if you had any questions that you were stumped on, because you had homework that you had to get done before the next week's session kicked in. So that's how it all started, man. But we weren't even trying to generate income. We were just trying to give back. And then we realized, man, this is a lot of work. We got to get paid somehow. Like we were taking this thing serious, and we were putting together scripts and course material and homework assignments and checking in with people on the Facebook group page. I mean, it was time consuming for all the right reasons. People were needing a location where they could not feel like they were on an island by themselves, getting positive reinforcement, collective wisdom, and support from people that are all on the same journey of trying to achieve their best self. And so new relationships were getting built. New transactions were starting to take place between different people that provide different services. New friendships were being born on this in this closed group. And then after 6 weeks, it just felt weird. And thank God AT&T called and said, we love what's going on with the Never Settle Club. Are you guys willing to do another 6 weeks? Because we would sponsor it.
Wow.
And we were like, heck yeah, we'll do another 6 weeks.
Wow.
If you will sponsor it, because then we could continue giving it away for free, which is what we wanted to do. So we ended up doing 12 weeks of that. So that's what gave birth the idea of just going back to how do we do something that's of value to people that we can give back, see where it goes. And then if it's something that takes off, we'll figure out what to do with it later or how we should or shouldn't monetize it later. But let's just do what's right. And we were in a financial position in the company that we could do that. So I just challenge people to kind of really think through when you are trying to launch something new or trying to do something that you're calling a quote unquote give back, make sure that it truly lies in the intent of giving back, because then you will make a program that will be amazing. And it may make for more work. It may make you more tired, but at the end of the day, you will be able to look back at that and say, number one, we created incredible value. And number two, it looks like it may have planted a seed for a new revenue generator within the company.
Yeah.
And that's what the Never Settle Club did. The club itself on Facebook is still a place where you can just go get positive inspiration, upload your wins, talk about your losses, talk about your struggles, get other people to chime in with advice, tips, and strategies to help you move through things that are significantly slowing you down. It is a greatest group ever of positive-minded people that are all in for a collective win amongst everybody. And there's no selling that's hard going on. We really shun that and keep that down so that people don't feel like they're getting spammed with marketing messages. This is really about embracing and helping each other get through challenges and give support. But now we're able to actually evolve this into the talk show, which has been a goal of the company since 2007 and 2008. Wow. To get our own talk show.
Talk about the talk show. Talk about what's upcoming that people do not understand. I tried to tell people about this podcast. I told them this is going to be an exclusive one because he's gonna do a complete access to what's coming because we've talked all about what is. Share with everyone the new thing that will happen in April that will really give people a very different look at media, but more so it gives kind of what I call turning the prism on the sun and people get another color of Mario. So what is that?
I like that, man. That's beautiful. Turning the prism of what is that? Turning the prism of the color of the sun?
Turning the prism to a different side on the sun and allows for different colors. And so that's what you're doing with this new space.
Yeah. No, this is on point. So in April, a new website is going to be released. And when that new website comes out, it will give you a sense of a new talk show that is going to happen in September of this year, September 28th to be specific. It is a talk show format where we are making this the first live two-way talk show that's created for you by you. So what that means is you will be able to interact with the show in real time, but also help produce the show ahead of time. So You're going to help pick the topics. You're going to help pick the guests, the entertainment of the show. We're basically molding what you want to have happen so that we're delivering a show that you're ordering. You're saying, here are the relevant issues that we're facing. Okay, look at that, man. 250 people are screaming the same relevant issue, or 4,000 people are screaming the same relevant issue. We got to do a show on this topic. Okay, who are the best guests to talk about this? Who do you guys want to see, and who do you want to ask your questions to? Man, everybody's going off on, picking this person or picking that person. We got to get them booked on the show. All right, what are the questions you want to ask? All right, we'll tally that all up now, and we'll set up our questions and start asking your questions, and then the show airs. Now, when the show airs, the show is your show. So people are going to be able to, in real time, during the discussion, ask their questions on Twitter, Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, and Blab.
Wow.
Oh, and a phone line for those that want to do the old school Larry King live.
Wow.
So there is no way that you cannot get, I mean, obviously not everybody's question is going to be asked, but we're going to have a team of social media producers watching all of this information and these questions that are coming in, and they're going to tell me in my ear, Mario, Lisa's question right now on Twitter, go to that because 15 other people are asking the same thing.
Wow. So can we get a exclusive title to this show, or do we need to wait?
No, we'll pull the curtain back a little bit. It is the Never Settle Show. The Never Settle Show is the name of it.
And it will be shot in Brooklyn, is that correct?
Shot in a Brooklyn studio that will seat about 40 to 50 people with an in-studio audience. So if you're in the area or want to come to the show, that's going to be wide open for you to go ahead and reserve your seat and get in so you can come hang out and be a part of the actual live studio audience. And it's going to be seen online. So you will be able to watch it on livestream.com. You'll be able to watch it at Never Settle Show, our website, neversettle.tv. You'll be able to see it on Apple TV, on Roku, and we are still working on trying to lock in distribution agreements. We're hoping to maybe get like an AOL or a Huffington Post or a Hulu or Netflix or Amazon. We're still working on those types of deals. But we also are making the show available to people like you and others. We will give you the embed code so you can put the show on your site or on your Facebook page or on your Facebook fan page. Like you can embed it right. So if you want to say, hey, I'm a part of the Never Settle Show and I'm bringing it to our network or our website, you'll have the power to do that. You can sell your own ads around that and make money off of our content.
Wow. Well, it sounds like what's going to happen is that in September, where there's a lot of other network television shows that come out. Sounds like they're about to have some serious competition online.
You know what, man? And I hope you're right because I think they're not paying attention to us. We took this idea and pitched it to several networks, as you know, and as you've mentioned, I'm on the Today Show. So I'm in the NBC family. You would think that it would be easy to go and pitch an idea with the fact that I'm already inside the network and like on TV. No, it doesn't. It's the same reason why, you can look at someone, whether you love or hate Kanye West, he was showing his frustration with when he was dealing with Nike and what he couldn't do with his fashion line. And you got to understand, like, you would think he's Kanye West. He should have a certain amount of money. He should have a certain amount of access. He should be able to launch a fashion line. What's the problem?
That's right.
It's not. People are so conditioned to put people into boxes that when something new comes from that same person that is credible in other areas, it tends to get a side eye or some hesitancy because you are playing in a new playground where maybe you haven't been proven yet.
That's right.
So, but yeah, man, but the thing that we're tired of, man, we're just tired of the networks doing the same old stuff. Like we got tossed out. We got told, no, Mario, your show is too positive. Like literally, quote, Mario, your show is too positive. People don't want this. They want drama right now. That's my favorite. Nobody wants to take notes while watching a show anymore.
Right.
Like I'm like, am I really that far off? Or is Periscope happening right underneath of them? And I'm watching a bunch of positive mindset scopes get watched day in and day out to the tune now where Periscope is now a year old this week, and there have been over 200 million live broadcasts. And I'm saying to myself, this dinosaur is about to drop.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, there's a whole group of society that's tired of you spoon feeding us fast food crap, thinking that's what we actually want.
Yep.
So we're like, when did controversy replace content?
Well, I think what you're diving into, which is awesome, is that for so long, and I heard this quote recently over the weekend about how, yes, there's a lot of negativity, but the media is kind of conditioned to feed kind of your primordial areas of your brain.
Yep.
And the truth is that there's 10 times more good happening out there. The problem is we just don't show it. And so I think things like live streaming have shown up to be kind of the 2.0 of TV watching. And now it gives people like somebody like yourself, myself, others that we know out there in that space who truly mean well and who are truly doing what provides that antithesis to what's all going on in the world. And so one of the things too that you hear a lot of is that some people will say, well, but we need to know what's going on in the world. And I always tell people, you're right. You do need to know what's going on in the world. But when you allow that to create the fear that stops you from doing anything good, that's when we got a problem. And so, Mario, I look forward to seeing this show in September. I really do.
Man, we do too, because we think that we can really create something that's relevant for people. That's what this is about. It's about you having a place where you feel a show has your back, cares about your challenges, your concerns, the issues you're facing, and is creating solutions. We're not just going to talk about it. A lot of the talk shows today, they think they're doing good. Man, these shows, they aren't willing to take the steps. This is why a network can't do what we're about to do. They are not willing to create an ecosystem. They want to create a TV show to get sponsors to support so they can make money. We want to create a show that creates impact and legacy that gets supported over time by financial sponsors. That is a totally different approach.
That's right.
To why I'm making something and why we're making something. So this show is, relevancy creates priority, or relevancy creates a sense of urgency. When people tell me all the time, like, well, how are you pitching? How do I pitch this? Or Mario, how can I get more people to give more attention to that? It's like, get outside of yourself and look at it from their perspective and understand what's relevant to them. Forget your pitch. Forget how you think you should phrase it. All of that doesn't matter if it's not relevant to them. So you have to actually study the opposite side when you're trying to get people to corral or get behind something you're trying to do, or invest in something you're trying to do. You got to understand, well, what's going to make it relevant to them, because relevancy creates a sense of urgency. That's and right. So if we create a show that we know you're helping to structure, it's relevant to your life. And if we create a show that's relevant to your life, then this show should become a priority to you.
That's right. That's
and
right.
Then you'll do what you need to do to advocate for it, to help support it, to help push it. You'll just be that person. Now, our show is not just going to have talking heads. It's gonna have the Mario Armstrong vibe. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be entertaining. Yeah, there are gonna be moments when we cry and we get angry, but we're gonna give you practical steps in every show on how you move forward. That's and right. We're gonna give you homework. Now, this is where things really get interesting, because there are a certain amount of people that know they want to watch this show and are willing to put in the work. And then there's gonna be a lot of people that are going to watch this show and expect change in their life, but they aren't putting in the work.
That's right.
The difference is you're not going to have any excuse, because we're going to make it so simple for you to do the work. And we're creating a online community so that you don't have to do this solo. You become a member of the Never Settle Club because you watch the Never Settle show. You upload the homework you did. You're going to see 30 people liking your homework or giving you advice or giving you a critique or giving you positive feedback.
That's right.
And that's going to feed that same thing that you were talking about, that negative TV feeds in our brain. That's what we're hoping is going to feed that into your brain as well and be a game changer for people.
That's good. That's good. Well, I tell you what, Mario, this has been a great conversation. So as always with my interviews, I love to give something away. So my audience, if you've been listening, you've been on here, you've seen it also in the show notes, but I want to remind everybody, because Mario was so gracious with his time today, we decided to put together a really great PDF for you. So you can go inside of the show notes and download the 4 secrets to a never settle culture. And it's going to be powerful. As you guys know, I always lead off and give and leave things with people in what I call the AOT, action-oriented theory, because I truly believe, as Mario just talked about with his show, we give people something, you want to make sure that they can walk away, go do it, and come back and get more. And so this 4 secrets to a never settle culture will help you in life and in business. And we think it's just something that's going to be great. I want to thank Mario for his contributions as well to it. Go inside the show notes. You'll be able to have it. And so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for listening. Mario, thank you so much for your time. And we hope that this points the way forward for you.
Christopher, this is an amazing platform that you're building here, and I respect and appreciate you and your audience and giving me some time to kind of share not only what we think can really make an impact in our own legacy, but also use it as a platform that can help other people find their purpose and their legacy and amplify that even more. So it's our show, people. We just need your help. Just head on over to neversettle.tv and become a member of this thing and become a member of this movement. And the one thing I would leave with is something I say a lot. It's complacency breeds regret. And I just don't want anyone in life to look back and say, man, I should have tried that, or I should have pushed myself harder, or I should have got comfortable being uncomfortable with that one idea. You don't want to become complacent so much so that it breeds regret in you later. So pursue those passions relentlessly without sacrificing your morals and integrity, and just go after it, make it happen. And if we can help you along the way, that's what we're here for.
Man, Mario, that was a great show, man. I love it.
Christopher, that was good stuff, man. I love your questions. I love the thought process. You were dropping bombs in there as well. It was straight fire. A lot of heat was going on in there, man.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate the time. So I know when do you actually drop the site? Because one thing I want to make sure that I do, when you send me over your information, just send me kind of some of the timeline information so I can just make sure that I kind of have all of that, and I'll and the links too that you want to add, and I'll make sure that that's all packaged up in the show notes as well.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I mean, our hope is that we are putting the revisions on this and that we get the final draft on Wednesday, and that my hope is that on Wednesday we just tell them, yep, that's it, go.
Good.
So really it should be this Friday. We've been telling some of our partners next Monday, but this podcast airs what day this week?
This will air Thursday.
So yeah, man, we're going to be prepared to do neversettle.tv. So I'm making this podcast a priority to have the site done by.
All right. So one last couple one-liners that I'll need you to give for me really quickly. The first one I need you to give is that this is Mario Armstrong and you're listening to the Way Forward podcast. That's one. And then I want you to give me another one plugging the Never Settle Club.
Okay. Hey, everybody, this is Mario Armstrong, and you are listening to the incredible Way Forward podcast. Hey, everybody, this is Mario Armstrong, founder of the Never Settle Club, and you are listening to the awesomest podcast out there, the Way Forward podcast.
That was a word. All right. So go ahead and give another one-liner plugging the Never Settle Club.
Oh, okay. Hey, everybody, this is Mario Armstrong, and I invite you to join the most positive, most significant movement happening online. It's the Never Settle Club. It's all about collective wisdom, positive advice, and support to help you pursue your passions and make them happen.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, I know you got the show coming up soon, and so is there anything that I could help you with along the way or prior to September?
First off, where are you based?
I'm in Charlotte, North
In Charlotte.
Carolina.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Um, I think, I think there's going to be a couple of things. We need to figure out a way to have people like you come to we're looking at doing a media event that would
Sure.
be the 14th or the 21st of September. It's one of those 2 days.
Gotcha.
And inviting you, whether that's virtually or inviting you there physically, like if you can't make it there physically, making it so that you can be there virtually and watch, to be a part of that media event. I think that would be cool to have, like, the Way Forward podcast, go behind the scenes and be a part of seeing some of the first images and video from the Never Settle show of what's going to be coming out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I just think that maybe we should look at what type of listenership are you getting right now?
So a lot of mine are those who are in the corporate space and or they are C-suite folks. And so because of my work that I do from a culture standpoint, and so I don't know if you've had a chance to see my website or some of the things that I do, but I'm a keynote. Yeah, so I'm a keynote speaker. So I have an entire model around how to change organizational culture. And so I do a lot of motivational stuff as well. So that's primarily who I have. I definitely have the corporate folks, those who might be in the transition looking to go to entrepreneurship. I also have that base of entrepreneurs as well.
Okay. So I think certainly communicating this to any entrepreneurs is a big deal, because most of them are need help and need guidance.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm trying to, the biggest thing that we're working on right now, man, is just really sponsorship and distribution.
That's right.
We're really going after, like, companies that want to be seen or integrated into the show in some really unique and interesting way, and where we can get more distribution to get more eyeballs to it.
So let me ask you a question, because, and you may know these connections already, I don't know. When I heard you first talk about the show, I was very intrigued. Just something that happened to cross my brain the first time I saw you talk about it. Have you reached out to the production team at OWN?
No, well, let me back up. We pitched them a different show concept, man, 4 years ago. They have not seen this concept yet. And the only reason why we've been hesitant is because we kind of feel, it's probably, it's a bad assumption, but we kind of feel like at a certain point we had to focus on launching something.
That's right. Yeah.
Rather than pitching something.
That's right.
And look, if you got somebody over there that we should see, I would say we would want to talk to them probably after we launched this site, so they could at least see it. But they would probably still be hesitant until September comes.
Yeah.
And when they actually see, oh, that's how the show is going to work. Oh, okay. So our hope is that after the first season, or during that first season, we will have content to actually show larger networks, so that we aren't talking about this thing that you can't really visualize. We're showing you exactly what it is.
Yeah. I don't have anybody. I just happen to think about it because I know they did It's Not You, It's Men. And it seems as though what they're doing is allowing for, because for the most part, like if you just look at 50,000 foot view level of what OWN has primarily done, it's pretty good stuff. They have their weekend stuff they show. They have more of the positive, social conscious sort of discussions. Obviously, Oprah at the helm with the Super Soul Sunday stuff, and then the other things that she's been doing on the side. It seems to work. But when they introduced It's Not You, It's Men, I was like, okay, that's left field. But it works though.
Yeah, it does.
It does work. Like it's very left field. It's not what you would typically see, but I can see why it's working. And so I was like, that's different. I wouldn't expect them to say yes to that, but obviously it seemed to work out. So I
No,
was
it's a
thinking
good,
that
it's a good
because you're
perception.
doing something that's more, it's almost, it hasn't been done yet. Like Oprah, like to me, that was the best line you said. Oprah 3.0. Like, I'm like, that would have to be like, that's scary good. Like,
Yeah, man.
it's a good reach. But when you think about it, right, like what would Oprah 3.0 look like? Like, could you imagine like if
Right.
live streaming was around when Oprah was on TV?
Right.
It'd be crazy.
You get it, Christopher. Thanks, man. I needed to hear that feedback because often I'll say it just to throw it out there to see how people react to it, to see if it's something like we should keep saying or like not use. But it's
No,
just
I mean, it's a ballsy statement, but I think it's smart.
It is because
I
nobody
think
can
it's
really be
smart to say.
Oprah, right? Like Oprah is Oprah, and we don't want to be her, but we're trying to get people to understand like what is the best talk show that if you could put live interactivity through the latest social platforms and be able to handle that. Like this is like play calling. This is like watching a football game or a
Yeah.
basketball game. This is like play calling. And so my background comes from radio. Like I was born and bred into media in live radio.
Yeah.
And I think you really have to have that type of personality almost.
That's right.
To be able
Which
to
is what I
handle
did
it.
too for a while.
Ah.
Yep.
Yeah. So so it's a totally different beast, man. You don't have pictures. You don't have
tell
images.
people all the time, I hate that radio died because I've always enjoyed it. Like to me, Wale said it best: TV killed the radio. Like, and it's true. Like it really did. But to me, radio was great because it's a faceless conversation that allows you to deal with the issue.
It does.
So
it's got no room for all of that.
Yeah, you don't have time. If you're watching TV, I can be very biased based on what I'm seeing.
That's right.
And on radio, it was like, you ain't got time for that because you're just all we're gonna talk about is the situation at hand, and that's gonna give me the most honest part of you.
That's right.
With this live streaming, like you said, I love what you said in the interview. You can't fake that. You can't fake a reaction. You can't fake
it's true. Yep.
the feeling of how you feel. But I think it will also create in a lot of people an opportunity to truly be thoughtful before they say something.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's caught on live streaming. Like that's everywhere. It's not you can't edit that moment. You know what I mean? And not that you shouldn't, but at the same time, I think people will be very much aware of whatever they feel. And the cool thing is you'll see people at their most authentic self. If they're fired up about a conversation, they're gonna, you'll see.
You're gonna see that. Yep. Yeah. No, I agree with you 1,000% on that. That's why it's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen with that social platform called Anchor, because that one is all audio based, up to 2 minutes. I don't know.
I haven't heard that one. Really?
Yeah, you might want to check it out since you're an audio person. I haven't figured out quite yet if I want to wrap yet another thing into my workflow, but but it is something for you to definitely check out and go take a look at. It's spelled just like the anchor from a ship.
Yeah.
And basically you use your phone to record up to 2 minutes, any audio you want to record, and then people can respond to that audio with their audio.
Are you serious?
Nah, so it's crazy. So you can end up having you can put out a poll or you could talk about a topic and then get people's feedback. We're thinking about using it for the talk show where we can say, hey, here's an upcoming topic that you guys voted on and an upcoming guest. Use Anchor to record your question, 30 seconds or less, record your question, and we'll run that Anchor response in the show when the show airs.
Wow.
So I think there's a lot of ways you can use it, but I'm just like, man, do I want to build another community at another place? I don't know. And do I want to listen to a bunch of replies? I don't know.
Yeah. That means you got to hire somebody just to listen.
But
you don't have another function in the job. It's just to listen. That's it.
I think if you did a mastermind group, or if you had a smaller group of thought leaders together based around a particular topic, and you made it kind of private where you're just like, here's our topic for the week. Yeah. Add your 2 cents to it. Then that might be something of value because you're in a group where the people and the caliber is there and you're willing to invest the time to hear what people have to say.
Or, you could almost even use it as a pipeline. So for example, let's say you run a contest and you said, I need the best 2-minute pitch for X.
Oh, nice.
And then you get those people, you know, people are responding, and then whoever wins that one gets, you know, whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I say that is because at least with contests, you know, there's a start and stop.
Right.
You don't have to run it forever, right?
Yep.
And it can be duplicatable like at any time. Like you could drop a contest, like you have a day-long contest. You got from 12 to 5 to submit a 2-minute pitch to me about this, and here's what you're gonna get if you're chosen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that way you can walk away from it and don't ever have to do it again. You know, you have 2,000 responses, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Because just think about it. But to me, what they've done is they've broken apart the main parts of radio.
Yeah, it's exactly it. It's exactly it. Yep.
I mean,
good point. Yeah,
they literally just broke down the skeleton of the radio and said, all right, you have a piece for that, a piece for that. You can video, or you can listen in. You can do audio only. You can. So to me, like that would be kind of the only way I could see even using that, because it's like you're right. It will be, then you got to build a whole workflow for it, and it just becomes too much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. That's a really good point. Like it's deconstructing radio. That's what, Like it's
Well, listen, man, this has been good. So I know you've got several things going on. I actually, what I'll do is between today and tomorrow evening, I will make sure that the whole thing is broken down. It'll be polished. It'll be all cleaned up. It'll be set up. When I send you my email, it'll have a link to the podcast, early release for you. It'll have the Twitter JPEGs, you know, the quotes and stuff that you'll be able to use, shareable quotes. All of that will be wrapped in that email. And then you can use that stuff, you know, how you wish, being able to promote that stuff. And then just make sure you send me your pieces for the PDF, and then also just your the links that you want me to add, and I'll make sure that it's in there, man.
That's fantastic, man. I'll definitely take good care of it, and I look forward to listening, and also just starting to become more of a listener to the other interviews that you do and help to promote that. So that's the thing I was going to ask of you too. Think about what it is that I can do. Although right now we're like, you know, slam, but like if it's just a matter of like really pushing hard on the promotion and really pushing hard on getting people to tune into your podcast, and even beyond, you know, my interview, tuning into that. If that's something that's helpful to you, just let me know what we can do to kind of continue to kind of push you out there as well.
Yeah. I know you're going to be going down to PerryCon in April, at the end of April.
Yeah.
I don't think I will be there, but are you hosting PerryCon?
Yeah, they got me kind of like the brand's the spokesperson for it. So yes, to a degree. I mean, I'm speaking, but then they also have me doing some other like MC type of roles as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So what I'll do is there might be a couple of things. Yeah, definitely probably pushing the podcast, but more so definitely I'll have to think of some things, and I'll probably just have to put it in an email as far as ways to probably create some of that exposure. Probably will come down to probably the podcast, and maybe even we might be able to even explore maybe just doing a quick video of some stuff. Maybe we could do some cross promotional stuff, especially since you're ready to launch the website, and we got to definitely I know you want to drive traffic to that as early as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do. So you think Thursday afternoon, or is it Thursday morning? What is it more?
No, typically all of my stuff is already, like, I load everything in Wednesday night, and it's out 5:30 a.m. Thursday morning, because I realize that most people are going to listen either on the way to work, working out. They're going to listen in between. So I like to give them the whole day, and then I promote
all day.
Thursday morning probably through the following Wednesday. You know, we've got like little teasers in Twitter. I'll do something on Facebook. I'll shoot a quick video and say, hey, if you haven't seen this, go check it out. I'll do stuff like that. So, So Wednesday afternoon, I will be doing a promo teaser that'll be like a snippet of the audio that will come out. I'll also have a video that will be done as well. Like, it'll be a quick video, just kind of plugging it so people know, all right, listen up, Thursday morning, it's available. You know, so I'll be doing that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man. Well, I'm psyched, man. This is gonna be. Can't wait to hear. Can't wait to hear you put your little your finalized touches on it, and we get this thing out. In the meantime, I will also email you the other two, or at least two other ideas for your 4 secrets to a never settle culture.
Absolutely, man. All right. Well,
Okay,
just
boss.
let me know if there's anything else, especially me being a keynote speaker. If there's anything I can do, you guys at conferences or different things coming up, I'd be more than willing to help you guys out.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay attention to where your. Let me see if I didn't see. Hold on a second, because I was looking for this. Hold on. Let me see if I can put up really fast here. I'll make sure what I thought I saw on the site is something that we can look at later.
What were you needing?
Yeah, there it is. Okay, just the YouTube video.
Oh yeah, the first intro video that's there, and we're actually getting ready to. I'm revamping it now because I've got a couple of events that I did that were really good.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I was going to pass that around. I figured since it was on your site, we could definitely.
Yeah, hey, absolutely. I would appreciate it. Yeah, feel free.
Okay. Yeah.
And then if you go into the event planners tab under videos, there's a ton of my motivational videos that are sitting in there.
Oh, wow. Wait, hold on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to get this stuff to rise to the top a little bit. It's too hard to find.
Yeah, so what I was thinking probably about doing is I think I'm just going to actually create a separate tab. The only reason is because in our line of work, event planners, they want to know where they should go. So they like to be able to come to a site and go, oh, event planner. Yep, that's me. So I think what I'm going to do is I just had this conversation the other day. I think what I am going to do is I'm going to move that and just make a separate video tab so that it's just there.
Yeah, or if there's a way to, I'm just trying to look at your top navigation to see if there was a way to really.
Hey, thank you so much for stopping by our
combine.
podcast. If you like what you hear.
And I am completely open to SEO ideas and different things as well. So.
Yeah, I see your dilemma here though. I see what you're facing. And you want to have the let's talk call to action up there. Definitely want to do that. Yeah, I see your dilemma. I have to think about this more because I can see where you're challenged with. But definitely, it seems like I haven't looked at those videos, but it looks like that is something. I mean, unless you feel that your reel is enough in and of itself to really do the selling, then that's fine. But if you really feel like some of these videos could push people over, then I think we need to figure out a way to kind of get these to resonate a little higher.
Yeah, I'm actually in the process because of my other videos. I'm actually in the process, and I'm going. I got 2 speaking engagements next week. One here in Charlotte, then I'm going to Minnesota, and those are going to be some really. I'm doing a technology conference in Minnesota, actually at Lead Pages, which is going to be kind of cool.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah, I love Lead Pages. Yeah,
so I'm doing their culture diversity conference. They're hosting at Lead Pages next week.
Oh, that's dope. Where is that at?
It's gonna be a really nice conversation too because of the stuff that we're doing. And so I came up with a really cool title, and they loved it. And they said, "Hey, we got to have you come up." So.
Oh, that's great, man. What'd you end up calling it? What got their attention?
So they're bringing in technology sector and the gaming sector, and they want to talk about cultural diversity and how to get better at that in those 2 spaces. And so I did my pitch, and when I sent it over to them, I just called it "Culture is not a game, but it's created like one." And so I break down how the most important aspects in any story has a lot to do with the relatable version of the character and the conflict that character has. And in the middle, in between that, is sandwiched as the great story. And I also talk about how there's always 2 types of change at any given time. There's forced change and there's voluntary change. Voluntary change is you said, all right, I'm gonna lose 30 pounds today, or I'm gonna start working out, or I'm gonna go launch this, or I'm gonna do that. That's stuff that you chose to do to create a disruption. Force changed is this issue that we're having with diversity. Because nobody would do something about it, it became such like a bad stench in the room. Now we're being forced to have a conversation that in the gaming sector, when you look at a game, they're so diverse, games are doing better than what we're doing in society. So I'm having a big conversation to kind of talk about what you can do. So I'm giving them kind of my 5 keys to being able to unlock diversity inside of their space. And one of those, I actually mentioned you in that, because the first one I talk about is raising that conscious conversation from just either or to many.
Yeah.
Because that is so powerful.
Yeah, right.
Thanks, so like that is, it's almost stupid simple, but it's very, very powerful. But I talked to them about my 5 keys to diversity. And so there's tons of sponsors that are there, like Target and all these other companies and lead pages, of course. And so the question that I leave them with is that, you know, what's the story that you want to tell and the one you want told by your consumer about your company when it relates to diversity? And I talked to them about how they're in control of that. And one of the big quotes that I always love that I share with them in the very beginning is a quote from Mark Parker. A couple years ago, they interviewed him about diversity change. And he said, the hardest thing to do in a company is to change when you don't think it's necessary.
The hardest thing to do in a company is to change. Oh, wow. Yeah. When you don't think it's necessary. Yep.
And so
why are we entertaining
about
this
all
discussion?
of the 30-year changes that Nike has made.
And
he was saying a lot of that is because he questions his leadership enough to where they go out and find answers. He said he doesn't micromanage them. When they bring him something, he just asks the right questions so that if they're not thinking about the change, he says he just puts it in a form of a question so that they're open. And so,
damn, that's powerful.
Yeah, it's huge. It's really, really huge. And so it was in the Forbes article. I could find the article. I could send it to you. It was a powerful interview that he did, but it was the last quote in that article. And I don't remember where I was when I saw it, but it almost knocked me off my chair because I was like, wow, that is so true.
Right.
And there's a lot of companies that I talk to, and that's, you know, they're happy to talk about culture, but it's because they're forced to now. And they haven't made it to where it's a voluntary change.
Yep, voluntary change. There you go.
It's gotta be welcomed. It's gotta be like, yep, this is what we're doing, and we're happy, and we're kicking our heels going down the street. Not, I'm gonna hire a consultant because I know if we don't deal with this, I'm
gonna be in trouble. Right.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a great conversation. But yeah, I'm kind of repackaged. That video now is good. It's not best, and I'm always about like improving it. So
sure.
I've got some new stuff that's coming. I just today went and picked up my new camera. So we'll have some new stuff. But yeah, it's gonna be good. So if there's anything going around, or you know, anyone needs a speaker that is not only motivating, but you know, I always tell people I work on my AOT, action-oriented theory. Nobody leaves a talk that I do without something to do. Yeah,
good. Absolutely. I'm definitely going to keep it in mind, man, and share it with the team so they can see. Plus, I'm going to make them aware of obviously being on the podcast, and that's going to raise some visibility as well. So I'll talk to the team about that to see if we got any opportunities coming our way that could be fit for you.
Cool, man. All right, Mario. Well, listen, let's keep in touch. And I will make sure I start working on this, and you will get it at least by Wednesday.
Okay, brother. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Have a good day.
Okay, you too. Take care.